Welcome back. I'm Sam Hedden, and we have a very unique episode for you today. We get to introduce you to two of the very important people that are running the Me Too Minneapolis compilation and event. We have the founder, Misha Sumnig, and soon to be with us, Krista. But I wanted to get us recording because there are two very lovely ladies that are sitting in the screen right now. So I thought you could introduce us to them and part of how they played a role in this.
Well, I wanted them, they need to go finish their dinners, but I wanted them to say hi. This is Katarina, and this is...
I'm Heike.
And that's right. And they're got the sillies right now, and they're one of the reasons that I got involved in helping to put all this stuff together for me too. Was I want them to grow up in a world that respects them as individuals, and sorry, we've got our sillies on, and also that they would be able to have, you know, bodily autonomy and into self-determination and all those types of things that sometimes we take for granted, but is not always for granted for women.
It's very nice to meet you.
You say hi?
Hi.
Hi.
Pop music. She's actually wearing my band's T-shirt from a long time ago. It says Mighty Fairly is the band name, and it's, you know, I have since turned into more of a dad than a rock and roller, but that's kind of how I knew a lot of the people that I did know, and the women that I was able to ask to be part of this was from past hundreds of shows that I either played or went to, or all those types of things. So that's kind of how it started. Was you know, my love for music is an extension of that, and then looking after them as well, of course.
You said that you used to be, that your background let you meet a lot of these people that you reached out to. So how did this process like develop?
Well, the sort of origination point, or how it got started, was I had been talking with friends online, and I had seen some of the women that I'm either fans of or know through music for many years post within just a few weeks of each other really heartbreaking stories about experiences they'd had in the music industry, in particular with men. And it was during that time of you know, off election year, where I felt very just not being able to do anything about things that our president says that I'm not a fan of, and sort of an extension of that is this mistreatment of people that I really respect and really respect their talent. And so I reached out to all three of them, and I said, here's an idea for a format I have. What does this make you feel supported? Does this make you feel cared about? Would this help? And all three of them emphatically said yes. And two of them joined the group of people who are on the CD. So that's kind of the start of it. And then I just went out to everybody that I knew and said, who are people who wouldn't mind being in something that's a little political? Because, you know, raising money for Planned Parenthood is a hot button thing, and if you're not a supporter of it, you aren't. And so that was kind of a tough conversation to start with people. A lot of people just don't want to be political with their musical careers because you lose fans, and it's hard enough to get people to pay attention. So I knew that would be a hard decision for some people. But the response was really overwhelming, and I just got so many people who were excited about it. And then I talked to Krista and said, "Hey, I've got this amazing thing. Can you help me? I really want to get the word out. These songs are unbelievable. These people are so unbelievably talented." And Krista, being who she is, she all of a sudden had, you know, I don't know how many folks, a whole bunch of more folks coming into the group and being able to, hey, speak of the devil, we're just talking about you.
How are you?
Good. I'm glad that you're able to join us. I know
Yes, of course.
I know you're not one to be
in front of the camera.
In front of the camera.
Right.
Right.
I generally am not. I like being behind the scene and helping out more.
Let's get a little bit about who you are to this project and how you got involved, and you guys can trade stories.
Misha and I go way back. He was in a couple different bands, Mighty Fairly and Tom Stellick's Mustache, which is an awesome band name, by the way. Isn't it? It's so great. Very inventive. And I've known him for, oh God, a couple decades, I think. And he reached out to me about this project, and it spoke to me. I knew right away. I didn't even have to think about it. I was like, yes, I want to help. I'm going to dive in. I know tons of artists. I can't wait to tell them about this. This is such a powerful thing. And this was long before anything like happened in the Me Too realm in Minneapolis even. Wasn't it, Misha? It was like last October, I think.
Yeah, I think I reached out to you in October, November of last year. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of been a long time coming. And for me, for one of the things that I can speak to as to why I'm involved is I'm a big supporter of Planned Parenthood. When I was much younger, I didn't have health insurance. I worked for a small independent record label, all men pretty much. And I went to Planned Parenthood just for a regular physical, and they found that I had a lump in my throat, and I apparently had 6 tumors. Long story short, I had my thyroid removed and ended up doing surgery, and then had a recurrence. And I go to the Mayo Clinic, but I'm fine now. I go once a year. But I feel indebted to them, and I feel like, God, this is an opportunity to give back to them, because they, I kind of feel like they saved my life in a lot of ways. And I learned that some of these artists also have the same experience. I think it's Linnea. Did I say that right?
Mhm.
I think so.
Yeah, she had a topical pregnancy, I think you call it. And Planned Parenthood also found that. I don't think a lot of people know that they do things outside of just birth control. They help LGBTQI people, and they're just amazing. They're really, really, they do all kinds of different physicals and stuff like that. I just love them. I also think it's really important to help women. We kind of come together as a group when they're together unified. I feel like they're heard more when we come together. Something that I wanted to say that, I also think it's really important with these women, femme, trans, non-binary humans, to support sexual assault survivors, and helping to raise money for Planned Parenthood. It was just a no-brainer. I knew I'd want to come on board.
What are some things that you may have had to adjusted or adapted to between when you started this project and now?
That's a good question.
Maniacal laugh of pain. Yeah, it was a stretch.
Start, Misha.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the original idea was to do very similar to what we're doing and have a release show. But see, the release show, we had a date and we had venues picked out. We were nearing the point at which we were going to make a decision and pull the trigger. And we had great venues, picked out, and we had to scrap it all because it just wasn't going to be safe. We couldn't guarantee our artist safety or audience safety. So that was a real big hiccup around March, where all of a sudden, the kind of the culmination of all of this had to be really radically changed. And then we approached the hook and ladder a couple months later, when it was, getting really down to the wire, and they had started this live stream that they do, the hook stream. And they're, one of those venues out there that's always figuring new ways to do things. And thank goodness, because we brought this to them and they were equally excited. They had that similar reaction to Krista of just like, oh yeah, we're definitely doing this. We're excited about this.
One of the things that I think is really important to say is that I think musicians and music really matter right now because of COVID and Black Lives Matter and Me Too Minneapolis. Music is healing, and it often is a unity thing and brings us together as a group. And I just have to mention this because it's so important to me, and I'm sure Misha. Please sign up for the Save Our Lives, Take Action, NIVA, which stands for National Independent Venue Association. Go to www.nivaSSOC.org and sign up, because that is something that our government isn't supporting right now, and we really need your help. So I just had to interject that in there because I think that's a very key thing to all of what we're doing.
I've seen a lot of interviews with the artists, but not you two. And you two obviously play a very key role in this. And I think more people should know a little bit about who made it happen or who helped start it.
Sure.
And could you guys explain a little bit about the event, how people can get tickets, where they can get the album and how that works?
They can go to METOOMPLS, and so it's METOOMPLS.com, and click on the tickets link to get tickets. And that's all going to be a virtual streaming event. And included in part of the ticket price is a digital download of the whole CD as well. So you don't just get the ticket, you also get the album as well.
Andrea Swenson is our MC for the event from The Current, and she's been very incredibly involved with these women. She cares a lot about them and is just a really great local music person as well.
Was it hard to find artists who would perform for this live stream?
You know, it wasn't, because there were so many women that were just, and I shouldn't just say women, I should say women, femmes, trans, non-binary humans. That's really important. That's something that I learned a lot, you guys, in this process. Because at first we started with the women with the X, and people of different backgrounds have come together and said, nope, this is how I like to be, you know, whether it's they, them, or that's new to me, and I'm learning. And so all of them, everyone as a unity wanted to come together so quickly, and they had songs already done and in the can, or they're like, oh my God, I've been bubbling to get this song out. This is the perfect project to do this. And I'm like, yes. Misha's amazing. He found a ton of studios to donate their time. So, and it's worth mentioning, most of these studios are men that own them, you know, and they offered up their time and their services for free to record these binary femmes, women that wanted to come in and record songs and give their time. So that to me was really touching as well. Let's name some of them, Misha, because I think we should. Matt Patrick at the library, he's been exceptional. I know he's done more than one. Owen Sartorius at his studio, which is
F5 Sound House.
F5 Sound.
Yeah. Farmhouse Records.
Say it again.
Farmhouse Records. And so Jonathan Earl did all of the mastering for free as well, and then he offered up free recording for artists who were able or willing to drive out to River Falls. And so a lot of folks have trouble making it that kind of big distance, but so a lot of other studios kind of stepped up in the cities, and including, you were just saying, Kevin Bowe as well.
Kevin Bowe, he was exceptional. He stepped up and did a couple songs, I believe. And then Sarah Morris's guy and her studio, that's worth mentioning. What's that called? Do you remember?
Eric Blomquist with River Rock Studios. That's all the stuff that I have, and some folks did completely record on their own, so they had the ability to do that. Like I
like Roe. I couldn't believe it when I heard that song. He did it in his bedroom.
Yeah,
he made that song, and Roe made that song in his bedroom. I couldn't believe how good it sounded.
I would like you, as our audience, to meet Roe, the musical artist who's on the compilation for Me Too Minneapolis. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are? Are you native to Minneapolis? Are you transplant, or where'd you come from?
Yeah, so I grew up in St. Paul. So I'm, Twin Cities native. Been living in Minneapolis for a couple of years now. I've been a part of a project called Static Panic for a while. That I guess we've been together for 4 years now, almost. This project has been more of a solo project for me. So the original concept for Me Too Minneapolis is certainly revolving around the Me Too movement. It felt like a very important discussion to be having, and especially like a great way to open up conversations and dialogues. But I wasn't feeling like Static Panic as a whole, which was my only project at the time that they asked me to do it, really like fit well into kind of that subject matter. I tried a bunch of different ways to try and get it to like match the vibe, but I was just like, it's a really hard subject, and like really, really challenging, and like I don't feel like a funky party band is really gonna sit well into this kind of project. So I kind of took it upon myself to build this solo project that I've been looking to do for a while. But it's, kind of this eclectic, very electronic based, kind of highlights maybe some of my singing, and like, I was just thinking about like the ways that I can play to my strengths when it comes to this project. So I felt like, taking a more personal approach would be better. So.
Silver and gold, platinum clay clouds my vision, keeping my heart up its start of lost decision, burning inside, written by myself is screaming. Charcoal to the front. I can hear the darkness here. Let me feel like I got this. I can handle the sadness. It's undercover, driven deep into madness. This hurt is mine. There was someone in my pocket, probably saw it like a locket. Tell me it's all standing down in the moss in the dark. I will be fine. There are so many sides to lonely. And promise me you really care. Can't count the many sides to lonely. To speak my heart, I wouldn't dare. Waiting for signs to climb. The sharpest bolt is time. One tiny stop turns into two. Short threads I can't unwind. So many different kinds. I must break through. I must break through.
The song Sides to Lonely, correct?
Yeah,
Can
that's
you tell
right.
us a little bit like the inspiration or where that song came from?
It's about the journey that one goes through when they are faced with hardship and told regularly that like you've got to keep pushing, you've got to move on, you've got to like heal from this, you've got to continue to persevere because everything's going to be better on the other side of it. But also in those kind of ways that people were kind of push you towards like what they think is going to be best for you and bettering you and healing. You start to realize that like some folks both like just don't have your best interest at heart, but they also like don't have what you need, the tools that you need to be able to move forward, to progress, to evolve, and feeling like some of those folks even had the ability to make you feel like you didn't deserve to feel that way, didn't deserve to be sitting in that loneliness, that sadness, that hardship, and not being able to, like, you should have already processed it already. Like that's the mentality, right? Is like,
Right.
Why are you still on this? Why are you, like it comes from a lot of feelings of, not feeling like enough, not feeling, and letting it kind of spiral into a bunch of different ways that one cannot feel like they deserve to be feeling or being whoever they really feel like they want or need to be.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It really was.
She was definitely fun to interview. She was a fun interview to get to sit down with.
So I was just going to say, yeah, the folks that came out, and Kevin Bowe is one of those local producers and songwriters have been around forever. He's a Grammy winner, and Jacob Schlichter from Semisonic played on Tina Shulesky's song. Shulesky.
I'm laughing, so I have to say that.
Thank you for correcting me.
It's okay.
Song. And just these people just kind of come out of the woodwork when you give them a good cause to work for. They want to. People want to do good things and want to be excited, especially for positive change, especially when there's so much havoc going on. I think people wanted even more.
This is about sexual assault. And when I introduced and met these women, I knew most of them already, but I didn't realize that many of them had been sexually assaulted. Not all of them, but many of them had. And something for me, it was an uncomfortable conversation to start having with them. But what I realized is some of these women like to name their abusers and some of them do not. And it's a healing process. And it also can be very triggering. So I guess I would just like to say, Misha is exceptional at this. Listening is really important. And hearing what they're hoping to get out of this is to be heard. And that to me is one of the 110% reasons why I wanted to get involved in this and help them with this. And this music is so healing and cathartic. It's not depressing. You don't put it on and want to cry or kill yourself. You put it on and go, this is awesome. So I had to mention that. I hope that's okay.
I'm Sam Hedden, and we have an amazing musical artist who's also with the Me Too project. She's called the artist Jor. She is critically acclaimed. She's a local singer and songwriter, and she's also the director and co-founder for the Good Arts Collective. So you did the song Won't Stop Me Now on the Me Too Minneapolis album that they came with. Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration? I've listened to that song probably over a dozen times, so it makes me
Wonderful.
happy.
Good. Yes, I'd be happy to talk about it. Well, when Misha and Krista, Misha is the organizer of the Me Too Minneapolis record. He and Krista Valinskis, the publicist, kind of put their heads together and found a bunch of amazing women, femme, non-binary, and trans people to be a part of the album. And we were all asked if we would write a song about, I don't know exactly how they framed it. Our experience with Me Too is kind of more or less what they said. They weren't asking us directly to write about a horrible experience or anything like that. I think they just wanted us to express ourselves around this idea. Mm-hmm. And so for me, when I think about this concept of Me Too, I've had my own kind of egregious experiences with different men in this industry, in this city. I think that what I really have learned as I've grown as a person and become more and more of an adult is that I need to have like clear boundaries and clear communication about what I want and what I don't want. And so in this song, I think, and especially in my life, I was really going through a phase of period of time. It's been a long period of time, maybe several years, of just learning how to communicate clearly about like what I need and what I don't, like I said, what I need, what I don't need, what I want, what I don't want, and where I begin and others end. That's been a really important thing for me to learn how to define and communicate as I've gotten older. And so when I think about the ideas around Me Too, it feels like it's consistently a violation of somebody's sense of self and their perimeter that they have around themselves. And so I would say I wrote this song as an expression of boundaries, of saying, these are things that I won't tolerate. Like, these are things that are not okay with me. And some of it's political, some of it is personal. I think the first verse is a little more political. It talks about, like, I don't want people's bombs in my face. It's like, I don't want people's guns, like, in my home. Like, I don't want, like, that in my space. But then in the second verse, you know, like, things that I have experienced is people, because I'm a performer, people feel like they know me, and which is a beautiful thing. I want that. But what I don't want is for those people then to touch my body because they think they know me. And it's like, right. No, I've never met you. You do not get to put your hand on my back or on my ass or on my shoulder or hug me just because we're in a picture together or any other thing. Like, and I mean, it always escalates from there, but for me, it was like, I don't want people's hands on my body. Like, I don't, you know, and so just really it came down to, like, I felt like over and over and over again, whenever women have come out and said, like, this is my experience, my lived experience. And then, like, the male dominant ethos, like, whether that is carried by women or by men, they're like, you didn't really have that experience. Like, that didn't really happen to you. Or, like, you did something wrong to deserve that. Or, like, whatever all of that is that happens, I'm like, This song is me saying, like, you want silence from me, and like, you're not going to get it. Like, not anymore. I'm going to speak about these things. I'm going to be vocal about abusers. I'm going to be honest about what my boundaries are. You're not going to like it, but like, you're not going to stop us anymore from empowering ourselves, because for so long women have been silenced and oppressed. And so that's what the song carries, I think. And these ideas that I had in the verses existed already. When they asked me to make this song, I was like, you know what? I have a song that I've been having trouble completing. Like, these concepts of like I have this song that's kind of me trying to say, like, get out of my space. But then when they were like, would you write about this? It gave me so much laser focus to be able to finish. And that's where like the chorus came from, and kind of came all together. And it was really an empowering experience to write the song, to finally find the vehicle by which to deliver these words of like defining my person. It was a really neat experience. So I'm really grateful that I was asked, because I'm really happy with how the song came out.
You won't stop me now. I don't want your hands on my body. I'm not your cheap trick hottie. You're gonna crash my party. It's on. You wanted to fight me, but I won't go down. You wanted silence, but I'm gonna shout. You won't stop me now. You won't stop me now. Wanted to fight me, but I won't go down. Wanted silence, but I'm gonna shout. I'm gonna shout. I'm gonna shout. Oh, I'm gonna shout. You won't stop me now. You won't stop me now. You won't stop me now.
But as a singer-songwriter, I have also been really fortunate to make 3 albums and to write and work with amazing musicians. Matt Patrick being the co-producer the producer of several of my works, and he's been a wonderful collaborator over the years, and has really helped me discover and define like who I am as an artist. And what was really cool is that finally this Won't Stop Me Now song was the first song I actually produced by myself.
Wow.
And so it was like years of working with Matt and learning from him and like kind of being mentored by him. And then they asked us to do this song, and he didn't have time to work on it with me. And I was like, I have to do it on my own. And it was scary, but it was such a cool experience. And then ended up that Cooper Doughton, my bass player, gave a lot of important, he added a lot to the song and really helped, I would say, in more of a co-producing perspective. But I'm really, really pleased with that journey of how I was able to kind of try this on my own. Like, the whole song is about being empowered, and then I had like this one opportunity to do it on my own, and I was nervous, but it happened, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So that's kind of—
We have a charity GoFundMe. You can also buy it on DistroKid. We have a Bandcamp site. You can buy it there as well. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we also have a website, which is www.metoominneapolis, and that's MOPS.com. And our sponsors for this show are The Current, the Women's March Minnesota, Planned Parenthood, and the Twin Cities gay scene. I thought I should definitely say thank you to all of them.
Yep. And copycats.
The compilation is amazing. This has been Sam Hedden with producer Andy Watson, and now you know Misha and Krista.